Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Ooh, that was saliva-y. Welcome back to another episode of Life with Lenoci podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Week 7, 6-1, baby. The winning streak continues. How can you hear me? Because I don't hear me that well. So is everything fine? Coming in hot because I'm feeling hot. So feeling good. Had a good. How are you guys doing? You doing well? You doing good? You got to be. If I'm bringing the energy this week, so I'm just letting you guys know if you're watching, this is a week to be excited because I don't know what the last weeks were like. I didn't really watch last week's episode if it was more like chill and lethargic. The week before was when we pranked everyone, but last week was just kind of normal. Last week I haven't, last week's episode hasn't come out yet. So I'm in the future, guys. So, but I shouldn't have said that. I don't have to tell you the truth, but I feel good because I did a lot of reorganization. I did a lot of reorganization, and that's a way to feel really good about yourself. And I'm feeling good about myself, and I'm excited about, nothing really. I'm just really content in life. You confused?
I'm like, so you got organized? Was this like a requiem for a dream type thing?
No. Like I'll reorganize in the closet, reorganizing shoes, reorganizing kitchen stuff. It just feels so good, and it takes so long. You don't even realize how long it takes, and then when you do it, you're like, where did my day go? And then you're like, oh, I woke up at 1 p.m. So that's why. And now, not everybody should be waking up that late, but when you live life to the fullest, and my definition of living life to the fullest is just trying to enjoy it as much as possible to where you don't have to do anything. And I'm just a guy that doesn't do anything, and I float around the universe, and that's what I do. But besides that, I want you to know that I feel really good about myself, and I hope you guys do too. And I think that that's an important message into the week. I don't really know what I'm saying, but whatever. It feels good. You look like shit, Mark. You look like you haven't slept. You look like you're about to get divorced. And he doesn't put his thumbs up for that. Look like you haven't slept. He went like this, about to get a divorce. Then he just went, you know what? His relationship is always fine. But where were you? Came back somewhere?
I was in Palm Springs Friday, then flew to Denver and held the USA Combine for dodgeball. So then I got back at like 1 a.m. last night.
Let's fade the music here. It's not as fun anymore. A combine for dodgeball. Like who's drafting these guys?
Exactly like that. Well, we select Team USA based off of
for what? The Olympics?
For the World Championships.
Where are the World Championships?
They are going to be in Edmonton this year.
And everybody from around the world will play.
There's something like 17 countries.
17 countries. So it's almost like the movie Dodgeball. It's that ridiculous. Like you got these people taking this so seriously. They're like, yo, it's do or die. Like I'm all like people who go to the World Championship of Dodgeball. This is like they're training for this all year, but not making a living.
No, not making a living.
So what are they doing Monday through Friday? Like just delivering mail?
Yeah, normal jobs.
There's a mailman.
Yeah.
There's a mailman out there that's a dodgeball expert.
There's an architect. There's a 6th grade teacher.
Wow.
There's musicians.
And they play once a week.
Oh, probably like if at their level, they're probably got to play at least 3-4 times a week.
And what's the prize for winning the championship in Edmonton this year?
I mean, for Worlds, which I'm not a fan of Worlds.
Huh. Well, I mean,
I like Nationals. Nationals has payouts.
The World doesn't? That's just like a trophy to say we were the best in the whole world.
Yeah. And it's not even the style of dodgeball I like.
Maybe sponsorships?
Yeah, you would think so.
You know what? Can I tell you something? You know why I think there's no sponsorships? Because nobody cares.
You know why I think?
Because nobody's buying tickets to go watch the best dodgeball players.
I think the board sucks at their job.
Oh. Well, if they're listening, you just got called out by Mr. Mark. Okay, well that's cool.
But yes, there was a combine like exactly like the NFL combine. Plenty of drills, stats, formulas to put everybody in like their athletic abilities.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we'll cover with that. But that was cool to do that for you.
One day, can we get you to do the combine stats?
Yeah.
We'll have you test out and see where you would rank.
In dodgeball?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It could be a Life with Lenoci vlog.
You got it.
We could go do that. Absolutely. Now, I don't want to retract and go backwards because this is older news, but I did want to go over the Chappelle thing a little bit more because now, like, I remember when we first talked about it, you were kind of just learning about it. Now you've seen the video and stuff. What's the highest level of football he played? What do you think? I'm saying he played high school football.
Oh, high school, because that form tackle was terrible. You got to wrap up, son.
Sure. But high school, obviously he didn't play collegiate because he wouldn't have done that. I'm going to say he probably only played a couple years at the high school level. Maybe quit after that.
I think he may have gotten JV, never probably played as a senior.
No, I don't think he had a career in high school at it. I'm saying he might not even have played for the high school, but he had some football play. There's definitely that's not just like a random guy who's like, I'm going to tackle. So, because he put his head down, he kind of missed because it was a missed tackle. He didn't get fully tackled.
Oh, absolutely. He didn't wrap up.
That doesn't count as a tackle. That's a missed tackle. If Chappelle has a football on him and he's running, he's still going.
Well, it makes me think he probably played something like stupid, like 7-on-7 or flag football, and he went for the flags.
Maybe, yes.
Muscle memory.
Yes. There was a flag. There's a flag tackle. There's a flag tackle, but you have to break down everything else. He did put. It seemed like he made the amateur move by putting his head down and not looking, just going with the shoulder, and and that happens in the NFL. But I would say highest level is probably freshman year, and then probably got into drugs, and then started rapping.
Are we still thinking that it is just publicity stunt to get famous?
Yeah. What else would it be?
Draw people to his SoundCloud?
I mean, or crazy, or just a crazy person. Like, that's, to me, that's all we have is crazy or publicity stunt, or, I mean, he doesn't care about transgender phobia or whatever.
Yeah,
however you say
definitely
that word.
not.
He's not a part of that. So, and yeah. Now, did we go over last week? Does this happen if Will Smith doesn't happen? Did we talk?
I don't think it happens at all without. Yeah, we did go over it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think we were on the same page.
Okay. Well, I mean, that was it. I mean, so I went on a boat out of Marina Del Rey for a little birthday party thing. Cool experience. Not sure how much money it was. Might have been, depending on if I had to pay for it or not, would I have done something like that? But it would be a fun experience with a bunch of friends. You ever go out on a boat in LA? It's a lot different from South Florida boating. South Florida boating, it's like someone owns a boat. Someone you always know owns a boat. It's way more fun. You're on it 8 hours. In LA, it's like you can do 2 hours, 3 hours. It's going to be more expensive. I don't feel like not a lot of people know people that own boats in California, especially unless you're part of that community. Like if you're friends and you only hang out in Marina Del Rey or Manhattan Beach in that area. But for Hollywood people, I feel like not a lot of people know people that own boats. Like you've been on a boat. It was because you guys
scuba dive.
You scuba dived.
Yeah.
How many times have you scuba dived?
I've been doing it for almost since I was 10.
You've been regularly scuba diving.
Yeah.
You ever touched a shark?
Yes.
You scared?
I'm crazy for sharks.
What do you mean? Like you want to fuck?
No, like I love sharks.
Yeah, I mean, they're cool, but like when you're in water, are you like totally like, there's no way a shark's going to attack me. I'll punch it in the face.
I used to clean the shark tank at the aquarium.
Dork. But are you afraid of sharks or no way?
No, not afraid.
Like, you would knock it out.
Like the only thing left on my bucket list is to touch a great white.
And jump into a volcano. That's
but
definitely
in terms
something I
of
would wanna
like
do.
scuba diving, that's it.
I didn't know this about you. You scuba dive a lot.
Yeah.
What's the deepest you've gone?
140 feet
Okay.
at a wreck in the Red Sea.
What's that, like the Empire State Building?
It's
Bigger.
it's past four. Well, technically, the technical term is past 4 atmospheres. It's considered
140 feet is 140 stories.
no.
100.
You're saying a story is 1 foot.
10 feet.
You're saying
Oh,
14 stories.
14 stories.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 14-story building.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's not anywhere near the Empire State Building.
But
That's bitch.
at that level, recreationally, that's dangerous.
So, do you have to, when you go down 14 stories, I'm sorry, I thought you said 140 stories.
So 140 feet.
140 feet. When you go down 140
10 feet is a story.
Yes. When you go down 140 feet, though, can you go right back up? Or is there...
No, you've got to take time to come back
You
up.
do have to take time. So
you gotta spend at least probably a 15-minute decompression.
15. When is the limit of how deep you go when you have to now wait before you go back up for oxygen
So
or for normal life?
the real thing is light doesn't, like red, the color red doesn't really penetrate past 66 feet. So past 66 feet,
You can't see the color red?
you're not really going to get beautiful colors, super interesting things. The only time you're ever going that deep
Is to find gold.
is if you're doing something like diving a shipwreck.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you're doing that, you're taking extra air and you're planning for a 20, 25-minute dive and then 15 minutes at 15 feet to decompress so you don't get the bends.
The bends?
Yeah. It's where what happens is air bubbles start to form in your arteries and veins and
you die.
joints. It's just super painful.
Has it happened to you?
I have not, but I know plenty of who have.
And they're fine?
Yeah.
That's why when you come down from space, they can't come out of that thing for a little bit. They got to float around in the ocean for a minute. Right?
Sure.
In that little, in their thing.
Think of it this way. So right now we're in 1 atmosphere of pressure from ground level to space. That's 1 atmosphere of the air pressurization. From 1 to 33 feet below, that's the same amount of pressure. At 33 feet,
water is heavier.
Correct. 33 feet to 66 feet, that's 2 atmospheres of pressure. Remember how things crush? You ever watch a submarine movie and they're going deep and the thing's starting to creak and they're talking about the atmospheres of pressure.
Wow. Where do you learn this? Just from life?
No, you take a scuba course so you get certified.
And how much does it cost to go scuba diving?
To get certified is probably around $400, $500.
How long does it take to get certified?
It would be, you'd probably have to do a day of classroom and probably 2 days of practical diving.
Yeah, I think I'll just jump in the water. Yeah, snorkel. I've done snorkeling in Florida growing up as a kid, but scuba diving, it's just like, it's a hobby.
I would say
you have a lot of hobbies, and I'm starting to think like, how is that possible? How is it possible that you have so many different things that you do and have time? Can you fly a plane? Can you fly a Cessna?
No.
I've flown one.
Okay.
Not legally. I've just held it while the guy who knew.
Never touched a joystick or other than like a flight simulator.
Would you want to learn how to fly a Cessna? It's not that hard.
Sure.
It's pretty simple. The one thing I know why I wouldn't do it is you have to be very tedious and patient, because there would be things like, if this doesn't go right, then you shouldn't fly. I'll be like, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Cessna, flight has never really... The only thing I want to do with flight is like in like Vegas or Russia, you can go for an absurd amount of money, get in a like fighter jet, and they'll take you up, to the edge of space, and they'll be like, hey, you want to do loop-de-loops and bullshit?
Wait, when can you do that?
You can go to Vegas and do that.
And go to the edge of space?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. In Russia, you can go... In Russia, you can go to the edge of space in like a MiG-29.
No, you can go to space even now.
Yeah.
If you have the money in Russia.
But that one's like 20-something thousand for that.
I would do it if I had the money.
Yeah.
Just to be like, wow. I mean, did you see when
But to like go through like a full like Top Gun type flight,
that would be cool.
right?
Well, you don't need to go to the edge of space to do that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like you're blowing past commercial airlines.
Well, I mean, you're going faster than the speed of sound. Well, I don't know if they're allowed to do that with you.
I don't think they're allowed to do that, but like they're like, hey,
You've seen it. You've seen.
Do you
one
want to
do it.
feel 9 Gs right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Did you? They used to do the Air and Sea show in South Florida for years. We used to go down there. It was pretty cool to watch that. I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now, thinking like wow, they don't do that anymore. Maybe they do it in San Diego. I don't know if they do it out here. But did you wait? Have you been in a helicopter?
I haven't actually.
Yeah, I have. Been in the heli.
That was within the last like year.
Yeah.
You went on a helicopter tour,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, wasn't scared. I just was like, oh, this is cool. I mean, at that point, you're just like, whatever happens, happens. But I mean, yeah, it was definitely cool. I definitely want to talk about this. And you know, I don't know how you feel about it, but it doesn't really matter because it's my job to talk about it. But I was when you ask somebody genuinely, like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Like, how are things? Or maybe not like that. You ever just have to listen to someone's problems, not your wife?
Sometimes.
How is that very hard for you?
Yeah, sometimes. You know, when you do say, "Hey, how you doing?" You normally get the, "Yeah, I'm okay."
In general,
But then sometimes you get the,
well, here's the thing about, "Hey, how you're doing." Everybody should know. That's not. We don't really. Nobody's like, unless someone comes up to you, right, and they're like, "Hey, man. So, you know, how are you doing?" Then that would be...
That's a prompt to actually give them,
yeah,
you know, a 2-minute answer.
But like passing through someone you see at work, someone you see once or twice a week, "Hey, how you doing?" Good. It's just, I don't know what the point of it is. I think it's just habit because that's what we were taught. But nobody really wants to know that. But that's a given. Everybody knows that. But I'm trying to think why did I write that down? Somebody was... Oh, I stopped in for dinner. My buddy was in town. Joe was in town, and they were at a Mexican restaurant, and I met them there. I got there late. Didn't eat, but I got there. And then this guy, Graham, he's sitting there, and I was like, how have things been going? And he was like, good. And I was like, yeah, because I knew he had left LA, but now he came back. So I was like, yeah, you know, it's good to see you. So like, are you getting back into the groove of things? Like I asked more than what are you doing? And then he unloaded, which I think was fine. I think it was, you know, we're sitting in a setting where that's the time to do it. It's not in passing where you're walking by and you're like, "Hey, how you doing?" So he unloaded, and I was like, so he was like, "Yeah, you know, I was really depressed. I was in this." So now he's in it. And then subconsciously, I'm sitting there going, okay, here I go. This is what I was like, here I go. I have to be very focused, and I have to be present. Like, do you have is that me, or do you do that too? You're like, all right, here we go. I gotta listen. I gotta listen to this.
Before I answer that, did you sit there thinking about something you want to say and try and remember what you want to say? Like, when is it my turn to speak?
No, I wasn't there because it was just like, whatever. I wasn't in the moment about to say something. But I was just like, okay, here we go. And then as he's speaking, I'm thinking about what he's saying, but I'm thinking about how I'm thinking about while he's talking. So it's like I'm in like this inception world. I'm like, okay, I'm listening, and then I'm thinking like, am I normal, like, to think this way? I mean, everybody. I'm thinking
I think that's normal.
I think everybody thinks that way. Like, we're all sitting there going, okay, I gotta listen. And it's not that I'm not genuinely interested, but I'm more like, and it's not that I don't care, but it's the fact that I don't want to come off as a psychopath, right? Or someone who, or I don't want to come off as disingenuous, right? You want to be like, you want to hear what they're saying. It's different if it's your girlfriend, right? Then you're like listening. Even though with that, sometimes I kind of zone out.
Oh, I got in trouble. Like bad fight.
Oh, hold on. Let's save that. Let me finish this thought. And then so I'm sitting there, and it's and that's when I go, this is funny that I'm consciously going, hear him, respond. Like there's a guy in my brain controlling, going like, hey, respond to this like this. You know what I mean? Because I think part of me was just like, this is boring. You know what I mean? It's boring. There's nothing really interesting unless someone has a story about why they got depressed or why they're going through a bad day and it's like juicy. Then you're like, why are you having a bad day? Well, some family shit. Like, what kind of shit? Like, someone got sick? No, I don't want to hear that. That's kind of boring, right? Everybody knows someone who got sick. No, someone got arrested in my... Okay, now that's interesting, right? Like, something that's... You know what I mean? So I thought that was something. And then, yes, going back, I mean, into your story, I was... She has no idea, but Haley the other day was going through something, and she's telling me it, and I'm observing her. I'm like, this one's really hurting her. Like, I'm not even like hearing what she's saying. I'm just like, oh, she's really frustrated by this, because I know her tells now, right? You know your girlfriend's or wife's tale. So I'm like, ooh, she's really hurt. Like, if I ask a couple questions in a certain way, she'll cry. Like, I was able to like I go, if I follow up with this, let's just let her go. I go, this is tough. And again, in my head, I'm like, you know, how do I diffuse this so that because like, if she's not happy, then we're not happy. You know what I mean? So going to you, I assume you're going to tell me you got called out for not listening. For zoning out.
Oh, I got worse.
And it was deep?
Oh, well, first I'll start off as someone who's married. The one thing I've learned is when they start talking like that, it's easiest to say, hey, is this I need to listen, or is this, do you want feedback? Because sometimes they just want to be heard. And that's super helpful, because you can literally shut down and nod, or you can be an active participant in it and give feedback. Sometimes they just want to be heard. And if you can tell the difference between which one, it helps a lot.
Interesting. So now, also, while that conversation was going on, I was having second thoughts because there's crickle. Hold on.
Right.
Let me see. I think it's got to be on your end. It's not bad. It's very minimal, but I think it's when you talk, so it could be your mic. But I'm not sure.
Got it.
No, we're fine. Okay, so just go into the story. Let me see.
So, sitting having tea in the middle of the day on a weekend. You
guys are just sitting having tea?
At 1 p.m.
You guys are sitting having tea.
We're having tea.
Doing what?
So, like, we'll
staring at each other?
We'll take time to just like chat. She gets up in the kitchen and she starts talking about her week. I get a text.
Plug it in. Okay.
I get a text and I immediately open it and then like voice to text it, and I finish it and I look back and she's just staring and crying.
She was talking to you the whole time.
Yes.
You have no idea about what?
I couldn't even. She was talking to me about what her week was going to look like.
So she cried because she was overwhelmed?
She cried because I literally ignored, took a text, answered a text in the middle of her story.
Wait, so then she starts crying. Now, this is where it gets fun, guys. This is what we're waiting for this episode. What did you do after that?
There's nothing you can do besides
consult.
Apologize profusely. But it was like, legitimately, I don't fight with her very much. We don't have fights, but this was a 2-day fight.
Mark, did you Did you get up and go over there and hug her?
No. She batted. No, I tried.
Mark.
No, I tried.
He
She
got itch.
batted away,
This
and
goes
she
back to his birthday.
went into the bedroom, locked the door.
And then did you try to get in?
She is locked. I'm like, hey, let's chat.
How many times do you say I love you a day?
Oh man, probably like 4 or 5.
Okay.
If we're talking like get up in the morning,
How many times do you kiss her on the lips and say, hey, how are you?
too many to count.
Okay. So you didn't like immediately like just drop your phone and go over there and be like,
Oh, I did. I dropped everything when I realized, oh shit.
and then
I just did
how
was
long were you in trouble for?
2 days.
What do you mean? Like you didn't sleep in the room? You slept on the couch?
Oh no, I slept in the room, but she just was like stone cold.
How so you'll go to bed upset then?
I don't like to. She can. She has the ability to. I can't. But it was one of those where like the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Like, do you get any of those?
I mean, yes, because we're different species. But I mean, yeah, that's a harsh punishment for sure. I will agree with you on that. And I think most people listening would be like 2 days of like being short and snug.
I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
Like, don't
like
yeah,
like
yes.
if that happened on Sunday and Tuesday, you wake up and you're like, you want to grab lunch later? She's like, I don't know. You're like, because of that, yeah, that's a little. But I would never let it go that far because I would be on Monday. I'd be like, yo, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck is? I was like, about that. You know what I mean? Like I just would have. It is weird. Like
it was like I can understand the reaction, but it was one of those where like it was so blown out of proportion that she must have had something else bothering her that she didn't want to bring up, and it just.
But she can't bring up because you're cold.
Yes.
Wow. What are we at?
28.
28. What else? You have anything going on in the world that you were like, oh, guess what? That I have no clue because I don't pay attention to the news?
God, I've just been like in a complete out of pocket all weekend.
Mark, are you happy?
Yeah. Busy is happy for me.
Sometimes busy is happy. Sometimes even not being busy, I can be happy. Mostly.
It's when I have nothing that's where like you get depression.
I have, before I guess we get out of here, I have Irvine coming up. If you're listening to this episode's too late. I was in Austin. I'm in Austin right now, actually, and there's a show tonight, actually. If you're listening to this episode, there's a show in Austin tonight at the Volcon Gas Company place, whatever. Tonight, 11 p.m. Special little guest will be with me on that show. I can't say his name, but if you figured out who any of my friends are, none of them would make me say special guest, but one. So that being said, that's tonight. Next week is Irvine Improv, May 26th. That's a Thursday, May 26th. This is next Thursday. And then anyone that is in Reno, I am there June 2nd to 4th. Maddie, I'm bringing Maddie with me.
Oh, you guys made up.
We made up. We were in beef for a while, and we're gonna do another Village Idiots episode next week. But this time, he's just here talking. You know what? I'm gonna have guests where they're not on it, and they just talk. They just talk, but it's still on me. And maybe that's interesting. Maybe that's an interesting thing. So Reno, you can get all these tickets at michaellenoci.com, and then you can get tickets to those. Please come if you are in the area. That being said, damn it. Not a lot going on, just kind of working on these different bits I got. Kind of like losing the steam on social media. Just like whatever, you know what I mean? Like I'm more switching my focus to just my stand up. I'm gonna shoot like a 25 to 30-minute special on the road on a big show, hopefully in September in Atlanta, I think, and then put that out. And so I'm like, let's just worry about that rather than chasing this algorithm game. Otherwise you're like, what am I doing? Why am I working so hard for nothing? Like editing these clips and like it's like for just to stay on top of being like, oh, every Monday, every Wednesday. I just was like kind of burnt out from that. I did see someone post on Facebook. It was like a female comic. Not that that matters that it's a female comic, but I don't know her well, but I've seen her in passing. No idea if we're friends or we are on Facebook, obviously. But she posted this. I thought this was interesting. She goes, seeing everyone post that they were on the Netflix is a Joke festival or a part of it, and I wasn't on any, and I feel like it's not because of my talent level. I'm just kind of curious. Is it something I'm not doing right? What am I not doing right? That blah, blah, blah. Something like that. And it wasn't like a bitter or a ranty thing because I don't perceive her like that. But I was just like, okay, this is someone who's not a little experienced in the and to really know what's going on. And this is by no means hate. This is just whatever. If you don't want to call it wisdom, this has just been in stand-up a long time. Netflix is a Joke festival. This isn't a prestigious festival. This wasn't Montreal. This isn't even like the one that they have in Austin, Moon Tower, which I could say is even worked their way up to become more prestigious. This wasn't like you had to be invited. There wasn't tryouts for this. This was just something that Netflix put together, and they stamped shows that were already going on, shows that you could have been on and they could have stamped, but you weren't booked that week. So when you see my friend did a Netflix as a Joke show, that wasn't anything. That's not an accomplishment of any sort, but whatever people need to use for the win, right? Everyone needs to have a win, right? Well, hey, I did a show, whatever. That's good to have wins, right? Our wins are doing an episode. So that's not really that big of a deal. I think it goes back into focus. You're focused in on something that was fake. This Netflix festival bombed. The truth is about it. Like Aziz had to cancel shows. Some famous comics had to cancel shows because people weren't showing up.
It was also honestly too many.
Yeah, it was just everywhere. It wasn't like a festival where like you have certain things going on. They were just like, hey, if you're these Comedy Store shows are, these Laugh Factory shows are, these improv shows are, these theater shows by some of these big comics that would have been sold out regardless because they're famous. And then there's like too many big comics doing too many big shows that not everyone can go. The stand-up fan base is a big bubble of what, 1 million people? They can all only go somewhere. So, it's not that big of a deal. I just thought, like, if she was someone I knew close enough, I would have reached out to her and be like, you're looking at this the whole wrong way. This has nothing to do with anything. The Netflix is a Joke stamp on these shows was not anything that people had to get or got booked for. It was just Netflix kind of, from what I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, that you've heard some in the news about the Netflix stock going down a little bit. Have you heard this? That Netflix knows that it's not going to be relevant in 5 years, and they're throwing all their money into just let's get all the money we can, and they're starting to do commercials on Netflix. That's a big sign that something might not be going.
Well, two things. So I will say that this was planned months in advance.
Yes.
And then they started throwing
this
stamps.
was planned a year before. It was supposed to happen the year of the pandemic. 2020 was supposed to be the first year.
Yes. So remember, Netflix gets their money from, subscriptions, but this was a chance for Netflix to get like ticket money.
Yeah.
So this was a chance to get in an extra revenue stream to also like kickstart more money and put more money into stand-up.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of your friend, two things. One, either if you're wondering why you weren't on it, one, your reps were not getting you on that, or two, you were not asking. You weren't going to get invited. It's something it's like comedian hangout.
It was on like a belly room show. It wasn't like the industry wasn't hopping around to these amateur shows anyways. If industry was around, they were going to the big guy shows anyways to see those. They went to Fluffy at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah. But if you're a comedian, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not hanging out at the Laugh Factory, not hanging out at the store or the improv, like are you expecting to get, added to a show?
No.
You need to be visible.
I mean, even someone who I've been doing it long enough where I don't have to hang out as much because I know people, but I'll still have dry weeks because I'm not reaching out. Like nobody's reaching out to anyone unless they know that person can get them butts in the seats. And that's 10 comics.
You will not be discovered. It is up to you
It's annoying
to
but
make
that's
it happen.
But it's called show business.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And that whole thing about Netflix, that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. And then, you these other streaming services, Apple TV, man, has some killers. I don't know if I'm on Apple TV now. I didn't want
the shows?
Dude, they got some great shows.
Which one are you watching?
Well, obviously, I finished the first season of Severance.
Have
you seen it?
2 episodes in, and my wife
Keep
watched
going.
without me. I got to keep going.
It's unbelievable. It's art.
I just watched Tokyo Vice.
No, and then nope, not gonna acknowledge that. And then the other one is The Servant. That's the M. Night Shyamalan one.
I didn't watch that one yet.
It's kind of interesting. And then there was what was the other one? It's got some bangers. And but I'll leave you guys with this. If any of you guys are comedians listening, when I started in 2010 to now, every 4 years there's been a new platform that was the hierarchy for stand-up. It went, and it won't be Netflix in 5 years. I promise you that. It will be Comedy Showcase app. It could go back to HBO. Who knows? It could be another platform. It could be Apple. It's whenever someone has the money to front to a Chappelle or Louis or a big enough thing that brings them, or a Rogan. To be honest, if Apple TV was like, hey Rogan, here's $100 million to do your special on it, that changes the game tomorrow.
Absolutely.
If they do that to Chappelle, it changes the game tomorrow. Like anyone that moves the needle that much, and we know Rogan moves the needle that much because of Spotify. So just that's some food for thought. If that's the right thing, did I get that right? Is that a real food for thought? And and HBO's never gone away because they have things like Succession that are great too. And I haven't finished Ozark, but I got to check that out.
I'm in the same boat.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Comment if you have questions or anything that you have topics you want to talk about. This is what I'm doing, just kind of riffing here, and I know it's not much, but we're figuring out the perks, and what, this is only episode 7, so we will get more polished. And thanks for hanging out and watching, and I'm enjoying it. Good night.